Chapter 4. Follow that dog. Jip led a very cheerful parade to Gramercy Park. He pranced along the sidewalk, pulling on his leash. Agnes and Agatha skipped to keep up with him. Samantha followed behind, proudly pushing her new doll carriage. Even the doll Agnes had loaned her, which was rather tired-looking, seemed to perk up as she rode in the fine red pram out in the midday sunshine. Gramercy Park was a pretty rectangular green across the street from Garden Cornelia's house. It was fenced on all four sides by tall black iron railings with two locked gates. The buildings that surrounded it seemed to look down on the quiet little park fondly, as if they wanted to protect it from the hubbub of the city. Agnes unlocked one gate, and the girls followed Jip into the park. He zigzagged from one side of the path to the other, sniffing out interesting scents as he led the girls to a large fountain in the center of the park. Around the bottom of the fountain, there was a pool where 10 swans swam. "How pretty," said Samantha. "The swans look almost real." Jip seemed to agree with Samantha. He growled at the swans and dragged out his leash, trying to get at them. "Stop it, Jip," scolded Agatha, jerking him back. She tried to pull Jip away, but he lunged and leapt, barking wildly all the while. "Just pulling my arm out," complained Agatha. "You'd better carry him," suggested Samantha. So Agatha picked Jip up, but he kept barking even when they walked away from the fountain. When Agatha put him down, Jip tried to run back to the swans, so she had to pick him up again. He squirmed in her arms. "I'm tired of carrying Jip," Agatha whined. "You take him, Agnes." "Absolutely not," said Agnes. "He'll get paw prints all over my dress. I don't want to be a mess like you are. After all," she said in a hoity-toity voice, "ladies do not make spectacles of themselves." Samantha had to laugh. Agnes sounded just like Grandmary. "Well, it's not fair," grumbled Agatha. "I've carried Jip enough. It was your dumb idea to bring him." "It was not," said Agnes. "It was too," said Agatha. "It was not. It was too." "Oh, I'll carry him," Samantha said firmly. You push the pram, Agatha." Agatha eyed the doll carriage. "No," she said. "I have a better idea." "What now?" asked Agnes. "Let's put Jip in the pram. That way none of us will have to carry him," said Agatha. Agnes was instantly enthusiastic. "Oh, that is a good idea," she said. He can sit right next to the doll." But Samantha didn't think it sounded like such a good idea. "We promised Cornelia we wouldn't let Jip off the leash," she reminded the twins. "We're not going to let Jip off the leash," said Agatha. "We're going to let me off the leash. Just watch." Agatha slipped the leash off her wrist and put Jip in the pram. She looped the leash over the handle of the pram. "There, you see?" she said. He's perfectly safe." Samantha shook her head. "I don't think..." Agnes interrupted. "Oh, don't be such a worrywart, Samantha. This is a brand new way to walk a dog. It's a great idea. Doesn't Jip look cute?" And Jip did look cute, but only for 1 second. He yanked the leash with his mouth and pulled it off the handle. Then, before the girls could grab him, he leaped out of the carriage and took off like a streak. "Stop!" shouted Samantha. "Jip, stop!" She started to run after him, trying to grab the leash, dragging in the dirt. Jip, Agatha yelped. She hopped up and down, waving her arms. "Oh no!" wailed all three girls when they saw Jip wiggle between the iron bars of the fence and slip out of the park. Just for a second, he turned to look at them. "What do we do now?" groaned Agnes. "Cornelia will be furious." "Quick, climb over the fence!" yelled Agatha wildly. She ran into the fence and started to shimmy up the iron bars. "Split up! Get the firemen! Call the police!" Agnes just stood still, holding her face in her hands, moaning. Samantha saw that she was going to have to take charge. "Don't just stand there," she ordered. "We've got to catch him. Come on!" She led the twins to the gate and pushed it open. They could see Jip halfway down the block, his white tail waving like a feather as he trotted along. The gate swung shut behind them. Your doll carriage!" cried Agnes. "Leave it," Samantha said as she ran. We've got to get Jip." As the girls dashed after Jip, Samantha heard a frightening rumble overhead. The three girls took off after Jip, who was running toward a big hotel on the corner. Samantha saw a group of people waiting in front with piles of luggage around them. "Stop that dog!" she called, but Jip was too fast. He bounded through the crowd, jumped over a trunk, and slipped around the corner. As the girls dashed after him, Samantha heard a frightening rumble. A shower of soot felt like black snow. She looked up for 1 second to see a train running along a track built up over the street. When she looked down again, Jip had disappeared. "Where'd he go?" she gasped to Agnes. "I don't know," Agnes wailed. "We've lost him, forever and ever." "Not if I can help it," said Samantha. She ran up to a man pushing a cart full of strawberries. "Have you seen our dog?" she asked urgently. Yes, said the man. "He went that way." He pointed farther up the street. "Thanks," yelled Samantha. "There he is," shouted Agatha. They saw Jip's tail bouncing along ahead of a wagon overflowing with flowers. The wagon looked just like Grandmary's garden in Mount Bedford, but chasing Jip in New York City was a lot different from chasing him in Mount Bedford. The city was so big and Jip was so little. What if they lost him? What if... Clang, clang, clang. Samantha practically jumped out of her skin as a big streetcar rumbled up to the curb in front of her. The huge, sweaty horses that pulled it shook their harnesses, snorting as they waited for people to get off. Samantha looked at the heavy hooves and thought how easily Jip could be crushed by them. Now where is he?" cried Agnes. "I see him," said Agatha, on the other side of the street." The girls dashed across the street, weaving between a wagon full of rattling milk cans and an automobile whose horn blared at them. Jip was far ahead of them now, slithering like a snake through the crowd. It was hard for the girls to move very fast because the sidewalk was so full of people. They had to wiggle their way between fashionable ladies, gentlemen in straw hats, boys selling newspapers, and workmen carrying heavy loads. Excuse me, said Samantha as she and the twins jostled past the people. Agatha tripped over a loose brick in the sidewalk and fell to her knees. "Ow!" she wailed, almost in tears. She knelt on the sidewalk. "Go ahead, leave me behind." "No," said Samantha. She helped Agatha get up and dusted her off. "You're fine, come on," she said. "You can't stop now. We need you. You're the best one at spotting Jip." None of them saw Jip again until they got to the corner of Fifth Avenue, the widest and busiest street in New York. "Look!" cried Agatha, pointing with both hands. "There's Jip in the street." Samantha leaped off the curb to get him when suddenly the pavement shook beneath her feet. Someone yanked her back up onto the sidewalk. She was almost crushed in the tumble of people who had scrambled to get back on the curb. "Watch out!" a voice shouted. "Fire engine! Out of the way!" "Jip!" yelled Samantha. She caught a glimpse of Jip, but then two huge horses galloped in front of her, pulling a fire engine. Its deafening bell rang out over the shouts and screams from the crowd. The firemen clung to the shiny pump in the middle of the wagon as it stormed past in a blur of red and silver, stirring up a cloud of dust in the street, racing like the wind. "Jip!" Samantha whispered. Was Jip somewhere in that cloud of dust? Nothing moved in the street. "Oh, Jip, we never should have let you go."